What it is, what's up, welcome to or welcome back to Battle of the Books. And today I'm going to talk about a couple of books that I have here that I'm hoping to add to the books that I have read this year. Now, I have a Storygraph and a Goodreads, and both of those have a reading goal of 30 books, which isn't a lot, I know. April, you could add more. April's not gonna add more because I don't believe that I met my reading goal last year, or I just barely met my reading goal last year. But I didn't want to go below my reading goal from last year, which I believe was like 25 to 15 books. I wanted to strive and aim for 30. So my reading goal this year is 30. And I have a couple of books right here that I'm hoping that will lead me to that goal. So without further ado, I'm going to start with the book that I'm currently reading, which is called Phantasma. And it's by Kaylee Smith. And it is about a woman named Ophelia. And she discovers her mother is brutally murdered. There is no time to grieve. She has inherited the family's fearsome magic and enormous debt. Circumstances go from dire to deadly. However, when Ophelia's sister decides to pay off the loan by entering Phantasma, a competition where contestants rarely escape alive, the victor is granted a single wish. The only way for Ophelia to save her sister is to win. Phantasma is a cursed manor full of twisting corridors and lavish ballrooms, staffed by enticing demons and fatal temptations. Ophelia must conquer all 9 floors to succeed, if her fears don't overtake her first. When a charming, arrogant stranger claims he can help, Ophelia knows better than to trust him. But with her sister's life on the line, Ophelia can't afford to turn him away. She'll just need to ignore the overwhelming, dark attraction drawing them closer and closer together. Because in Phantasma, the only thing deadlier than losing the game is losing your heart. I'm 200 pages into this book, and I'm very happy with where it's going. I'm really hoping it's a 5-star read for me. And if it's not, I'm going to be sad, but it's probably not going to be anything less than a 4. I'm hoping that I could also add the second book of this to what I've read this year. Hopefully, if I finish this book, I will buy the second one and then I'll start straight into it. But I am halfway done to this one, so I'm still halfway done with this one, so I'm still including it to what I'm wanting to read. Because if I don't finish it, I'm not sure if I'll include it into what I've read this year or not. But I feel like it counts. So let me know if it does count or if it doesn't, if I finish it or not. But like I said, it's pretty good, so I don't think I have a reason not to finish it. Now, this next book is The Man Made of Smoke by Alex North. I like The Whispering Man by Alex North, so I'm really hoping that The Man Made of Smoke is going to live up to The Whispering Man. And it's about a man named Dan Garvey who's been haunted by a crime he witnessed as a child, narrowly escaping an encounter with a notorious serial killer. He has dedicated his life since to profiling criminals, eager to seek justice for innocent victims. So when his father dies under suspicious circumstances, Dan revisits the small island community where he grew up, determined to uncover the truth about his death. Is it possible that the monster he remembers from his childhood nightmares has returned after all these years? I'm really hoping that I like this one. This one seems short enough for me to finish it in a couple of days. So after I finish Phantasma and its second book, I'm really hoping that I can get to that one and enjoy it just as much as I enjoyed The Whispering Man. Now, this next book is called I'm Not Dying With You Tonight by Jilly Siegel. And this one is about a girl named Lena and another girl named Campbell. Lena has her killer style, her awesome boyfriend, and a plan. She knows she's going to make it big. Campbell, on the other hand, is just trying to keep her head down and get through the year at her new school. When both girls attend the Friday night football game, what neither of them expects is for everything to descend in sudden mass chaos. Chaos born from violence and hate. Chaos that unexpectedly throws them together. They aren't friends. They hardly understand each other's point of view. But none of that matters when the city is up in flames and they only have each other to rely on if they're going to survive the night. This one has been on my TBR for a couple of years, and it's been on my shelf for probably, I want to say, 3 years now. I'm really hoping that I can hurry up and finish this because I'm coming up on a lot of books on my shelf that I wanted to read, but I haven't read. And I'm hoping that I can have a whole bookshelf of books that I've read before this year is over. Next, I have The 13th Child by Erin A. Craig. And this one is about a girl who's the 13th child in her family, and she is promised to a god. So Hazel Trepis has always known she wasn't like her siblings. A 13th child promised to one of the gods, she spends her childhood waiting for her benefactor, Merrick, the god of death, to arrive and take her away. When he does, he lays out exactly what he's planned for Hazel's future. She will become a great and celebrated healer. To aid her endeavors, Merrick blesses Hazel with a gift, the ability to instantly deduce the exact cure needed to treat the sick. But all gifts come with a price. Hazel can see when death has claimed a patient and is tasked with ending their suffering permanently. Haunted by the ghost of those she's killed, Hazel longs to run. Destiny brings her to the royal court where she meets Leopold, a rakish prince with a disdain for everyone and everything. And that's where Hazel faces her biggest dilemma yet. Should she save the life of a king marked to die? Hazel knows what she is meant to do and what her heart is urging her toward. But what will happen if she goes against the will of death himself? I'm really hoping that I can read this one and breeze through it, kind of like I'm breezing through Phantasma, because it seems good and it looks good. Just from the way that the cover looks, it definitely got me based on the cover without reading the description. The description was just a plus. Like I said, I'm hoping to finish Phantasma and finish the second book to Phantasma, and I can get into one of the books that's on this list. If you feel like one is better than the other because you've read it, or you just feel like you're judging them based off the cover like I am, let me know in the comments which one you'd pick and which one you'd start next, because I feel like you guys might sway me to switch up my reading list. Now, the next one I have is The Ghostwriter by Julie Clark. And this one is about a man named Vincent as well as his daughter. And it says, June 1975, the Taylor family shatters in a single night when two teenage siblings are found dead in their own home. The only surviving sibling, Vincent, never shakes the whispers and the accusations that he was the one who killed them. Decades later, the legend only grows as his career as a horror writer skyrockets. Ghostwriter Olivia Dumont has spent her entire professional life hiding the fact that she is the only child of Vincent Taylor. Now on the brink of financial ruin, she's offered a job to ghostwrite her father's last book. What she doesn't know, though, is that the project is another one of his lies, because it's not another horror novel he wants her to write. After 50 years of silence, Vincent Taylor is finally ready to talk about what really happened in 1975. I'm hoping that I like this one. I have high hopes just because it sounds like it's a mystery that I can figure out, or not even a mystery that I can figure out. It's just, I think I know what is going to happen in here, and I'm hoping I'm right. So I'm excited to get to this one as well. Now, the next one I have, I'm not so eager to read it after looking at the last page of the book, which I know is frowned upon. I shouldn't have done that. But I'm kind of not excited for this one. So this one might be switched out. And this one is The Bones Beneath My Skin by TJ Klune. Now, I got this one because I was really excited about the author. I hear a lot of good things about the author and how good he writes. I used to have The House on the Cerulean Sea, which I believe is by him as well, which I no longer have, and I haven't read it. So I might switch out this book for The House on the Cerulean Sea just to see if I like that one a little bit better than I might like this one. But this one is about a man whose name is Nate Cartwright. He's lost everything and his parents are dead. His only brother wants nothing to do with him, and he's been fired from his job as a journalist in Washington, D.C. With nothing left to lose, he returns to his family's summer cabin outside of the small mountain town of Roseland, Oregon, to try and find some sense of direction. The cabin should be empty, but it's not. Inside is a man named Alex, and with him is an extraordinary 10-year-old girl who calls herself Artemis Darth Vader. But Artemis isn't exactly as she appears. Soon it becomes clear that Nate must make a choice, let himself drown in the memories of his past, or fight for a future he's never even thought possible. Because the girl is special, and forces are descending upon them who want nothing more than to control her. The more that I read the synopsis of this book, the more I think it might be interesting, and I think it might drag me in. But like I said, I still might switch this one out for House on the Cerulean Sea just because I've heard a lot about the House on the Cerulean Sea and not a lot about this one. But I'm also willing to not put this one out completely, but give it a try as well, just at a later date. The next one I have is The Lost Story. Now, I've read The Wishing Well by Meg Schaefer, and I absolutely loved it. That's a book that I actually feel like I should have gave 5 stars, and I hadn't given it 5 stars, so I'll probably reread it and then change my rating on it later. I'll probably do a series of books that I'm gonna reread next year. Hopefully next year, fingers crossed. But this one is The Lost Story, and it is about... As boys, friends Jeremy Cox and Raph Howell went missing in the vast West Virginia state forest, only to mysteriously reappear 6 months later with no explanation of where they'd gone or how they survived. 15 years after their miraculous homecoming, Raph is a reclusive artist who still bears scars inside and out, but has no memory of what happened during those months. Meanwhile, Jeremy has become a famed missing persons investigator. With his uncanny abilities, he is the one person who can help vet tech Emily Wendell find her sister, who has vanished in the very same forest as Raph and Jeremy. Jeremy alone knows the fantastical truth that while the rest of the world was searching for them, the 2 missing boys were in a magical realm filled with impossible beauty and terrible danger. He believes that that they will find Emily's sister. But for his own inscrutable reasons, Jeremy has kept Raph in the dark since their return. However, the time for burying secret comes to an end as the quest for Emily's sister begins. The former Lost Boys must confront their shared past, better yet, no matter how traumatic the memories. Continued on the back flap. Oh, this one has a lot. Alongside the headstrong Emily, and Raph and Jeremy must return to the enchanted world where they called home for 6 months. Only then they can get back everything and everyone they've lost. Meg Schaefer is a really good author. Like I said, I read The Wishing Well, I believe is what it's called. And I love that one. I like the suspense that book had. And I'm hoping that this one has some similar suspense. The next one I have is Holding Up the Universe. It's by Jennifer Niven. I don't know how to pronounce her name. If I'm pronouncing that wrong, please comment and tell me that I'm pronouncing that wrong. Now, this one is called Holding Up the Universe. I really hope that y'all can see that. If y'all can't, I'm so sorry again. But, yes. It's called Holding Up the Universe by Jennifer Niven. I read All the Bright Places by her, and that one tugged on some heartstrings. I almost cried, but thugs don't cry. I didn't cry. But it was a really good book. So I'm hoping to get into her backlist and read more books by her. This one is about a girl named Libby. Libby is the girl whose name everyone knows, but no one really sees her except Jack. Jack is the guy who's friends with everyone, but he doesn't let anyone in except Libby. The two might make an unlikely pair, and yet they just might be able to change each other's worlds. I'm really hoping that I like this one. This is probably the only paperback that I have on my list that I think I'm really excited for, and the only paperback I have for this video. So I'm hoping I enjoy it, but it's probably not going to be the only paperback that I do read this year. I've read a couple of paperbacks already, but I'm hoping to read maybe 3 or 4 more. The hardbacks are just grabbing my attention because most of them are books of the month, and I'm trying to hurry up and finish most of my books of the month before I keep ordering more books. Next, I have You Again. This one falls into the fall season, so I'm really hoping that I can finish this one during the fall season. This is by Kate Goldbeck. And this is one that I got last year, hoping to read it last year, I believe it was, or the year before last. What year was this? Let's see. 2023. So, yeah, a couple years ago. But I think I got this one as a book of the month for year before last, 2020. Yeah. Year before last, 2023. I got it in 2023, hoping that I could finish this one. I did not get to it due to my life being uprooted. Happens to the best of us. But I'm hoping that I can get to this one this year. If not, I will probably read it around this time next year. Mark my words. And in order for me to finish it, I will probably do a reading vlog of this one, just because I need to finish this book. This book has been in the back of my mind since I got it. So, yes, I need to figure it out. When Ari and Josh first meet, the wrong kind of sparks fly. They hate each other instantly. A free-spirited, struggling comedian, Ari likes to keep things casual and never sleeps over after hooking up. Josh, a born and bred New Yorker, has ambitious plans to take the culinary world by storm and find the one. They have absolutely nothing in common except that they happen to be sleeping with the same woman. Artie and Josh never expect their paths to cross again, but years later, as they're both reeling from ego-bruising breakups, a chance encounter leads to a surprising connection, friendship. Turns out spending time with your former nemesis is fun when you're too sad to hate each other and too sad for hate sex. As friends without benefits, they find comfort in late-night Netflix binges, swiping through each other's online dating profile, and bickering across boroughs, until one night, the unspoken boundaries of their platonic friendship begins to blur. With sharp observations and sizzling chemistry, You Again explores the dynamics of co-ed friendship in this irresistible romantic comedy of modern love in all its forms. But now that I can talk again, You Again by Kate Goldbeck has been, like I said, in the back of my head for the last couple of months, and I'm really hoping that I enjoy it or I like it, or I'm hoping that I at least start it sometime soon. But it's pretty hefty. It's, what, 400 pages? 500? 395. Somebody's lying. 396. Okay, so yeah, it's about 400 pages. Yeah, 413, 415. Let's see. Let me figure it out. Yeah, 400 pages. I'm hoping, like I said, to get to this one and read it pretty soon. The last book, well, it's not the last book that I have on this list, but it's the last one that's out of a box. And it is The Book of Witching by C.J. Cook. And this one, it really looks good. The cover got me. I'm the one who judges a book by a cover. I'm so sorry. I'm that girl. I love books with capturing covers. And The Crow, it got me. It got me. I'm not gonna lie. Now this one says that a mother must fight for her daughter's life in this fierce and haunting tale of witchcraft and revenge. Clem gets a call that every mother's worst nightmare. That is every mother's worst nightmare. Her 19-year-old daughter, Erin, is unconscious in the hospital after a hiking trip with her friends on the remote Orkney Islands met a horrifying end, leaving her boyfriend dead and her best friend missing. When Erin wakes, she doesn't recognize her mother and she doesn't answer to her name, but insists she is someone named Nix. Clem travels to the site of her daughter's accident, determined to find out what happened to her. The answer may lie in a dark secret in the history of the Orkneys, a woman wrongly accused of witchcraft in the murder 4 centuries ago. Clem begins to wonder whether Erin's strange behavior is a symptom of a broken mind or the effects of an ancient curse. This one got me because, like I said, the cover, but the synopsis of it seems like it'll be really interesting for Halloween. So I'm hoping that I can get to this one in October. I know I'm not going to get to it anytime soon with me wanting to read all of Phantasma, the first and second book, as well as The Man Made of Smoke. So I'd probably say end of October I'll want to get to this one. Or if not, end of October, early December. But this one, if I don't get to it this year, it'll definitely be a book that I bring back up in October of next year. Now, there are 2 that I have in boxes that I haven't opened, but I got them from Book of the Month that I wanted to read. Yes, this is the one that I was thinking that I ordered, but I didn't think I ordered. I thought I had picked something else. And it is called Play Nice. Now, all of these are pretty much horror thrillers, like I said, because I'm trying to get into the mood of the fall spirit. And the more that I read thrillers and books that kind of sound interesting, I think that will capture my attention. I tend to read romances, and then the romances sound interesting, and then I tend to put them down and be like, yeah, I can focus on a romance anytime. The thrillers, I think that I have a limited time to read them, which I honestly don't. I could read them at any time, but I like to read them around the spooky time and the spooky season because that's when I decorate and do all the fancy stuff. So I'm hoping that I can decorate and sit down and have a cozy book or 2 this fall. And if I do, they might be in a vlog or 2 coming up, so stay tuned for that. Now this one is called Play Nice by Rachel Harrison, and it says, it's just waiting for you to come home. Silo Louise Barnes, or Cleo Louise Barnes, however you want to pronounce that. I feel like that's open to interpretation. I don't know. You leave that up to you. But Cleo Louise Barnes leads a picture-perfect life as a stylist and an influencer, but beneath the glossy veneer, she harbors a not-so-glamorous secret. She grew up in a haunted house. Well, not haunted, possessed. After Cleo's parents messily divorced, her mother Alex moved Cleo and her sisters to a house occupied by a demon, or so Alex claimed. That's not what Cleo's sisters remember, or what the courts determined when they stripped her of custody after she went off the deep end. But Alex was insistent. She even wrote a book about her experience in the house. After Alex's sudden death, the supposedly possessed house passes to Cleo and her sisters. Where her sisters see childhood trauma, Cleo sees an opportunity for house-flipping content. Only as the home makeover process begins, Cleo discovers there might be some truth to her mother's claims. As memories resurface and Cleo finally reads her mother's book, the presence of the house becomes more real and more sinister, revealing ugly truths that threaten to shake Cleo's beautiful life to its very foundation. This is the one that I keep seeing advertisements for, and it's such a pretty cover. And it's such a pretty color. It's purple, but my light's probably a little bit too bright for you to see that. I really like this color and the sound of the book, the synopsis of the book. I really hope that I can read this one. I might push everything aside after Phantasma. The second book is, I believe, Enchantress or something like that for Phantasma. If I don't read the second book to Phantasma, I'll probably drop everything and start this one. And I know that I keep saying I'm going to start books or read this book next, read that book next. I don't know. I really don't base my books on... I base my books on what mood I'm in. If I pick it up and I feel like I want to pick it, I'm probably going to pick it up and read it. Now, this one is a fantasy book, I believe. I could be wrong, but it's another book of the month. And it's called Immoral Consequences by Ivy Marie. Now, this one is pretty. I didn't get the sprayed edge version because I was a little bit too late. And I'm a little bit sad about that because I feel like it would have been pretty for me to face it out on my shelf when I finally finished getting my shelf together. And yeah, I have Wicked facing out right now, but I think I might change that to put this one facing out just because I like the cover and how shiny it is. I am a sucker for pretty book covers. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm completely honest. I am a sucker for pretty book covers. But this one says, "Welcome to Blackwood Academy, the legendary school located on the fringes of the afterlife. Once a pupil enters the academy's arched gates, there is no way out, except for the decennial once-in-a-decade celebration, in which a single worthy student is tested and given a choice. Graduate and join Blackwood's magical elite, or cross over to the mysterious other side. This time, though, the rules have changed. This decennial isn't a celebration. It's a competition, and there can only be one victor." That sounds exciting. That's probably what really got me, aside from the cover as well. Because I do tend to read the book of the month's descriptions 4 or 5 times before I select the book. I can't talk. I'm going to get it together eventually. And this is going up unedited. So sorry. But I don't have time to edit it. I'm being lazy today. And I really have to set up my computer for editing. It's over there, which is why I keep looking. I'm just lazy for that right now. But if you give me some time to get my life together, I will set up my editing software so I can edit and do all of that fancy stuff. But this one says, "Two academic arch rivals whose strange connection blurs the lines between obsession and hate. One girl driven slowly by ambition and another plagued by memories of the love she lost. And the charming playboy who never cared for anyone until he met the academy's newest student. Each of these 6 students has their own motivation to win and their own secret to hide. But what none of them know, they aren't the only ones playing Blackwood's game. And if they lose, some fates are worse than death." This one is real big. I think this is probably the biggest book that I have in the pile aside from Phantasma. Let's see. Yeah, this one's 500 pages. This one's a lot bigger than the other books. Yeah, this one's 495 pages. This one's a lot bigger. So this one probably won't be what I get to this year. If it's captivating enough, I probably will finish it before the year is over or on the cusp of the year ending. But I'm hoping that I can get to this one as well, just because I'm a fan of shiny, pretty covers to show off, as well as the synopsis kind of got me. Will the boy win or will the girl win? I'm a fan of figuring out who wins and who doesn't. So hopefully I can finish that, and my pile is going to fall over here. These are all the books. Wait, let me grab the last one. These are all the books that I'm hoping to add to the collection to finish my 30 books this year goal. If you have a similar goal to me, please comment down what is your goal and how far you are currently into your goal. If you are nowhere near close, I believe in you. You got this, because I feel like I'm nowhere near close, but I think I can do it. If I focus and buckle down hard enough, I am determined to get there. When there's a will, there is a way. Don't believe me? Watch. We gonna finish them. But if you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, and subscribe. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.